Yes. Hello everyone. Welcome to Suprabha Academy English medium course for MPSC Combine Group B and Group C. My name is Akshay, and as you are following a demo series lecture, today is today's lecture is based on the polity subject. Okay, and today we are going to discuss about polity and how you have to prepare, how you have to build your approach, how you should start reading the notes and which notes you have to refer, which type of topics you have to deal with, and in which manner you should study. Okay, so as you know, that polity subject is relevant for each and every exam. Polity based questions are asked in UPSC, Civil Services, MPSC Rajya Seva, and Combine Exam for of MPSC as well. Okay, but do you think that each and every question asked by this exam is same? Though the topic might be same, but the depth of knowledge or the depth of that topic is different, and the way they are asking the question is also different. So this is the most important thing you should understand before you start the preparation of any exam. So today we are going to discuss that how you should build your approach for this subject, which is polity, if you want to prepare for the combined exam. As you all know that combined group B and group C exams are based on two stages. The first stage is preliminary exam and the second stage is mains exam. Okay, and both of them are objective. So in prelims exam, the number of questions asked by the commission for polity is around 15 questions, and you know, if the overall percentage, if you calculate the overall percentage of number of questions, it roughly come near nears to 15%. Okay, so and one more thing, if you want to start the preparation of exam, there are few steps you have to follow. Okay, so the very first step is that you should first analyze and understand the syllabus. Okay, after understanding the syllabus, you have to go through some PYQs. You have to analyze the previous year question papers, and that would ultimately benefit you in understanding the overall structure and overall demand of MPSC. Okay, and in that way, after that you have to start preparing for that subject. Okay, so first go through a syllabus. So this is the syllabus of preliminary exam, and this syllabus is we are giving you in English. On the commission sites, the syllabus they have provided you is in Marathi language. If you want this syllabus in English, you can fill up the Google form. The link has been provided in the comment box. Okay, and we will provide you that syllabus copy in English. Okay, so here is the preliminary exam syllabus. As you can see that at number 5 they have mentioned the polity subject syllabus, and here they have mentioned only a term, and that is polity or political science. So does it mean that we don't have the detailed syllabus, and how we will start preparing the exam if you don't know the topic? And does this mean that we have to read each and every topic, each and every article in depth of polity subject for this exam, for pre-exam? The answer is surely no. Okay, so we have decoded this syllabus, okay, of for preliminary exam as well as for a mains exam. But before, let's move on to the main syllabus. Okay, then we will discuss in detail that which topics they are asking and what are the important topics and subtopics in them which you should prepare for the exam. Fine. So here is the main syllabus, syllabus for mains exam. Here also at serial number 5 they have mentioned in detailed syllabus. Okay, for mains. Here they have mentioned that Indian federal system, they have mentioned Indian federal system, Indian constitution, local self-government institution, executive, judiciary, legislature, etc. Okay, and below that they have given you the detailed syllabus from what they are going to ask from the above topics. Okay, like how the in Indian constitution they will ask you question based on how the constitution was framed, how the preamble came into being, the salient features and important articles. Okay, don't worry, we are going to discuss this syllabus in detail in the next slides. Okay, if you are having any sort of confusion or any question, you can comment and we will discuss that question or your issue. Okay, so the very first topic of the syllabus which is important is making of constitution, the very first chapter of our polity subject. So from this topic the commission usually asks questions from the committees which were created, okay, which were formed for the by the constituent assembly, okay, like drafting committee and many other committees. And from that committees they usually ask that who was the chairman of that committee, like for example drafting committee, who was the chairman of drafting committee, or which of the following persons or individuals were not the member of that specific committee. Okay, so this is the important topics in this chapter which we have to dealt with. Okay, the second chapter is salient features of constitution. In this chapter the commission usually asks questions from sources. As you know that our constitution have taken references and inspiration from acts of British Raj and various other constitution of the nation. Okay, so they always ask question on sources, they ask question on schedules, they ask question on list. Okay, we have 3 lists in our constitution and they usually ask question related to that list. Similarly, for fundamental rights they ask question based on this articles. Okay, article number 15, 19, 20, 21A and 28. Okay, the next chapter on which the commission asks questions is directive principle of state policy or DPSP. So for DPSP they ask question on sequence, the question based on for DPSP based on education articles relate like article 40, that article 40 is related to which DPSP and more. The next topic is center state relation. So here the commission asked questions on the commissions which were established to study the center and state relations. Okay, so the commissions like Sarkaria Commission, Punchi Commission. So the commission may ask you that who were the members of this commission or who were the chairperson of this commission and for what reason this commission was formed. Okay, and what were their recommendations as well. So you have to study such types of commission in this topic. For president, the commission asks questions on duties of president, powers of president and relation of president with prime minister. Okay, so in duties, in powers like executive power, judicial power, diplomatic powers, okay, and duties like to summoning the session of the parliament and so on. Okay, similarly for parliaments question are based on bills, like they may ask you about a specific bill, like for example take money bill, that how money bill is introduced, where the money bill has to be passed, what are the articles based on for money bill, okay, and so on. Powers related to state subject. As you know that if the Rajya Sabha makes a proposal or passes a resolution, that after that the resolution is passed, Parliament can make laws based on the state list. Okay, so such type of questions or topics are asked in this topic. committees. As we all know that Parliament have certain committees like Public Accounts Committee, okay, Estimates Committee. So in this topic, they ask you that the committee members are related to which of the houses of the Parliament, or they are member of which houses. Okay, who is the chairman of that committee? Okay, and the chairman belongs to which house of the Parliament, and so on. Supreme Court. The next topic is Supreme Court, and from this topic the questions are usually related to judicial review. Okay, so you have to study about this topic and focus on judicial review. Now the picture changes. Okay, the topics we have covered till now are not so important from the point of view of combined exam, but as we switch to this topic which are related to state, okay, state legislature, state executive, or state or high courts which are based in states. Okay, so from these topics the number or the frequency of question which the commission asks increases. Okay, so you can see that from this topic governor, questions are based on appointment, tenure and power. Like for example, they ask you questions on appointment like that who appoints the governor, who the governor gives the resignation to who, okay, or what is the tenure of governor, that governor is in the office for how much term or for how many years. Powers, that pardoning powers of governors, that in which scenario or in which cases the governor may issue pardon to the individual. Okay, for state legislature questions are based on bicameral legislature. They may ask you that how many states have bicameral legislature, or in which two states the bicameral legislature is not present. Okay. The next topic is bills. So from this topic, that is bills, they might ask you about the powers of legislative council, that if a bill is passed, if a money bill is passed to the legislative council, in how much duration the council should pass, and what powers does the council have in respect to the money bill. Okay. Similarly, powers and roles of legislative council and maximum members. Okay, so this is the favorite question of MPSC, that they usually ask the minimum and maximum numbers of members which are allowed by the constitution for the legislative assembly or state legislature. They might ask you that what is the maximum number of members a legislative assembly could have for it, okay, or what is the minimum number of members a legislative may have. Okay, so this type of question is asked in this topic, that is state legislature. The next is high court. Question are based on court of record, judges appointment, qualification and tenure. Okay, so here they ask question that who appoints the judge of the high court, okay, and what is the tenure and what are the qualifications for a person who wants to be a high court judge. Okay, so such type of questions are asked from high court topic. This is the most important topic, okay, for the MPSC Combine Exam, that is Panchayat Raj or local self-government. Each and every year, out of 15 questions, 3 to 4 questions are based directly or indirectly on this topic. So it consists at least two-thirds of the overall questions. Okay, so this topic is very important, and here starts the dilemma for the students. Like for example, for the remaining topics like central government, state government, or the fundamental rights or DPSP, student may refer number of books which are readily available in the market in English language. Okay, like for example, the most popular book as a reference is M. Lakshmikant. The overall topics you may cover from that book, okay, because that book is referred for UPSC, MPSC, Rajya Seva as well as for combined. But there is a catch, okay, that how come each and every exam is covered in the same book? That means if you are referring to certain reference books, you have to cover each and every page, each and every line of that book. But is it necessary for our exam? No, it is not. You should be precise and concise when you are preparing, because you have to prepare number of subjects for this exam, and you should be very concise while preparing for the exam. Okay. Unnecessary, you will end up having so much knowledge, and that knowledge would not be reflected in the exam questions. Okay, so you have to be precise while preparing for the exam. So coming to this topic, you won't find notes available in the market for this topic, that is Panchayat Raj, that is based in that is in English language. Okay, so here we in Suprabha, we are specialized in dealing with such topics and such exams, and we will provide you full and precise and concise material for our exam. Okay, so in Panchayat Raj, the questions are based on articles, like article number 243, like article number 243A, B, C, D, and they will ask you to match the pair with the provisions of the article. Okay. The next topic is Sarpanch in this topic. Okay, so the question which are based on Sarpanch are usually in the form of that how the Sarpanch is appointed, how he is elected, what are the duties and functions of Sarpanch, and how he may be removed by the Panchayat itself. Okay, Gram Sevak, who is the secretary or a government servant in the Panchayat, his roles, his functions and his duties are asked. Gram Sabha, which is important in for Panchayat Raj, that questions are related that who are the members of Gram Sabha, how a Gram Sabha is called, what are the resolutions, in which way the resolutions are passed in Gram Sabha, and so on. Okay, and next is Gram Panchayat and Jilla Parishad and so on. So such topics are asked from this topics, that is Panchayat Raj, and you have to be very thorough in this subject, in this topic, to excel in polity subject for combined exam. The next comes the commissions. Okay, so the important commission on which most of the questions are focused is the election commission. For election commission, articles which are based on election commission are asked, his duties, elections and his roles and his duties or his functions are asked. That the question they have asked is that who conducts the state legislative assembly elections, or who conducts the parliamentary elections in India. Then answer would be election commission. Fine. Next comes the state service commission. In Maharashtra it is known as MPSC, Maharashtra Public Service Commission, for which you are preparing. Okay, so questions related to it, articles, the chairman, members, appointment, removal. Okay, so questions which are based on this topic, that is MPSC, are generally related to this members and chairman. Okay, their appointment, their roles, or after serving the given term, if a certain member is going to promote, on which post he might be promoted. Like if a serving member of MPSC is promoted, he might be promoted to the chairman of MPSC or member or chairman of UPSC. Okay, such types of questions are asked. Okay, so the next topic is Advocate General, the most important topic. Okay, the most important. Each and every year you will find, if you go through the PYQ analysis, you will find question on Advocate General each and every year. Okay, they might have missed in a year, but for 10 years, if you take analysis for 10 years, at least 7 to 8 times they have asked you question based on Advocate General. So our questions are based on articles, appointment, that who appoints the Advocate General, what is his term, that for how many years or how for what term he serves the as Advocate General, what are his duties and what are his qualifications. Okay, official language. Okay, so some topics commission asked questions on some topics which are rare. Okay, but there is a pattern, you can follow the pattern. In that pattern, this topic, you will find the mention of this topic in the questions each second or third year. Okay, so the questions are based on article 349, 343 and 345, which are or related to official languages. Okay, so this was the overall analysis of our syllabus, that we have decoded our syllabus, we have gone through all the topics on subtopics of that chapters, and we have understood that in which type or in which format the MPSC usually asks the question for combined Group B and Group C exam. Okay. So now let's start or begin to our next phase, which is that how you should build your approach, or how you should start to begin to prepare, in which form or in which format. Okay, so let me give an example. I have taken some topics, I have mentioned years in horizontal row. Okay, here you can see that this topic, making of constitution, they have asked you each and like questions based each and every year. Okay, but the topics like silent features, you will find frequency higher. Okay, they have asked you question each and every year. So as you will uh, refer any book or any notes, you will find mention of these topics in each and every notes or book. But how you should prepare for that topic, we will understand here. Okay, so I am taking today, just for example, I am taking this topic, salient features of our constitution. Okay, let's begin. So salient features of our constitution, so this chapter is in our polity subject. Okay, so in our salient features, our constitution, which is prepared by the Constituent Assembly, have drawn inspiration and references from various other constitution. Okay, and by it Dr. Ambedkar or Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar have proudly stated that we have formed this constitution by ransacking all the known constitutions of the world. Now you might think that why they have gone through all the sources of the for the constitution, like various other constitution of the nations, various acts of our British Raj. Okay, so that they can adopt the proven principles of governance, and at the same time they will they may avoid errors experienced by other nation. Okay, and blend the global ideas with Indian social political realities. Okay, why this is important for our exam is, they might ask you, they have asked you questions like about the statements and opinion of jurists or famous personalities. Okay, so that's why this such statements are important for your exam. Let's go through some sources of our constitution, and then we will take some PYQs. So you will have an idea, you will understand that this is the same topics which you are studying, or you will going to study, but this is the right approach to study this topic. Okay, so here are the sources of the constitution, and here are the borrowed features. Okay, that we have borrowed from which country and which feature. Okay, So from Government of India Act, we have borrowed around 75% of constitution from this act. Political thinkers like Subhash Kashyap have stated that at least 75% of our present constitution is borrowed from that act. Why they have borrowed, we will discuss in our lectures. Okay. Now for this lecture or this session, we will try to understand that how you should build your approach for the topic. Okay. So I am taking this in very concise and brief way. So don't so try to understand it. Okay. So Government of India Act 1935, we have taken federal scheme, Office of Governor, emergency provisions, administrative details, judiciary, public service commissions. Okay, fine. So we have taken this all features from this act. Okay. From USA, we have taken fundamental rights, independence of judiciary, judicial review, impeachment of president, removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges, and post of vice president. So as you go through these features we have borrowed from USA, you are going to understand a pattern. That pattern is that most of the judicial features, okay, related to features related to judiciary, we have taken from USA. So if they ask you a question and you got confused that what is the what are the right options, you may remember that anything or most of the things which are related to judiciary are taken from USA. The next comes Ireland. Okay, from Ireland we have taken directive principles of state policy, nomination of members to Rajya Sabha, and method of election of president. Okay. From UK, we have borrowed parliamentary form of government, rule of law, legislative procedures, single citizenship, cabinet system, prerogative writs, and parliamentary privileges and bicameralism. So, after reading these features, you have understood or you might have understood that most of the features which are related to parliament we have borrowed from UK. Why we have borrowed all these features from UK? Because UK or Great Britain was ruling India and they have introduced in the series of acts from dated from 1773 to 1947 in by which the Indians or the machinery or the ruling or the bureaucracy or officials were much more familiar from this pattern of parliamentary form of government. That's why we have taken inspiration for parliamentary form from UK. Okay. From Canada, we have taken federation with strong center, vesting residuary powers in the center, appointment of state governors by the center, and the advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court. So as we go through these features which are borrowed from Canada, you will find a thing that to make our central government strong, we have taken features from Canada. Okay, so you just remember that if you want to make our central government strong, you have to take inspiration from Canada. Fine. Next comes Australia. In Australia, we have taken from Australia we have taken concurrent list, freedom of trade, commerce, intercourse, joint sitting of two houses of parliament. Fine. So here you can see that all these features, in these features, two parties or two entities are coming together. Like in concurrent list, state and center governments are coming together, or they might or they may legislate some laws on specific subjects. Okay. For trade and commerce, you know that trade can happen between at least two persons. Okay. A single individual cannot trade. Okay. In joint sitting, the two houses of our parliament comes together to legislate laws. Okay. So if any two entities are coming together, that are coming by or through Australia. Fine. Germany, we have taken suspension of fundamental rights during emergency. This provision is taken or inspired from Germany constitution. So Germany is famous for a very famous personality is known as Adolf Hitler, and Hitler was famous for taking away the rights of citizens or individuals. So if you want to take rights from the citizens during emergency, you have to refer to Germany. Fine. USSR or Russia. Fundamental duties, ideas of justice in the preamble. Okay. So Russia is famous or is known as big brother for India in geopolitical scenario. Fine. So what do big brothers do? They tell us duties or they tell us work to do. Fine. In our home. And at the same time, they also serve justice to us. If in case we have involved in a fight outside our home, we usually calls our elder brothers. Okay, so just remember, these are some tricks. From France, we have taken ideals of liberty, equality and fraternity. Fine. These ideals are based on French Revolution. Okay, so remember this thing, from French Revolution we have taken all this which was based in France. Okay, from Japan we have taken procedure established by law. From South African Constitution, we have taken the procedure of amendment of Constitution and election of members of Rajya Sabha. Okay. So, in this way, we have dealt or we have learned or understood a subtopic of that chapter, which is salient features of Constitution. In salient features of Constitution, there are number of topics. Okay, like the sources of Constitution, like the schedules on which the questions are asked, like the list and the subject enumerated in it. So we have taken this topic and we have gone through a very brief information of sources of our Constitution. Okay. Now we will go through some PYQs so you can understand that how important is your approach while you are preparing for any competitive exam. Okay. For example, let's imagine that this topic, salient features of Constitution, is of 10 to 20 or 30 pages in any book which we are referring. But if the questions are based on these tables, what is the need you should study each and everything? You have to go through all the topics of that chapter, but you should have focused on certain topics. Okay, so let's go through some PYQs so you will have an idea. So this PYQ, this question was asked in 2025 in the recent exam. Here they have given you two lists. Okay, the first list is the features of our or provisions of our Indian Constitution, and in the second list they have given you the list of countries from which we have borrowed. Okay, so the first provision is directive principle of state policy, second is fundamental rights, third is concurrent list, fourth is India as a union of state with greater powers to the union. Okay, so we have, let's discuss here. Okay, so fundamental rights, we have discussed this thing. Listen here, fundamental rights we have taken from US. Okay, directive principles we have taken from Ireland. Okay, what else? Residuary powers to the central appointments. Okay, so I have told you that this topic, India as a union of state with greater powers to the union, I have told you that if you want to give more power to form a powerful center, you have to refer to Canada. Okay, so here it is Canada. Concurrent list, I have told you that when two entities come together, always remember Australia. Concurrent list means state and center can form laws on that specific subjects. Okay, so in this way you could refer. This question was asked in 2022. Which among the following features of Indian Constitution is not borrowed from British Constitution? Okay, first option is parliamentary form of government, cabinet form of government, rule of law, concurrent list. Look, I have told you that if a question which is related to British features we have borrowed from British, if it is related to parliament, it is right. Okay, parliamentary form, yes, we have taken here, cabinet also, but concurrent list, again two entities. Okay, this we have taken from Australia. Fine. So in this way, the questions become very easy to solve. Okay, you don't have to study each and every article or each and every pen and paper and each and every topic. Okay, you have to refer specific topics for combine. Combine is not civil services or UPSC exam or MPSC Rajya Seva exam where you have to refer each and every topic. Combine is an exam which, if you are focused or you are precise while preparing, you would excel very short time. Okay, this was an example. Let's go through some more examples. Let's take next topic of salient features of constitution, that is schedules. Okay, so schedules of Indian constitution. First of all, what do you mean by schedule? Schedules are supplementary section attached at the end of the constitution. They contain detailed provisions that explain or operationalize specific articles. Okay, like our constitution is divided in two. It is not actually divided, but let's understand. Okay, the first is the parts. Okay, the parts of our constitution, and the second one is schedules. Fine. So in this two forms, our constitution has been formed. In parts comes the articles. The comes articles. So in articles, if the article is most elaborated, okay, each and everything is added in the article becomes bulgy. Okay, it becomes lengthy, and each and every article is formed in that way, the constitution becomes more lengthier. As you all know that our Indian constitution is already the lengthiest constitution of the world, the lengthiest written constitution. Okay, the world's most comprehensive detailed document. Okay, so to avoid such things, some details or some information is placed in the schedules which are related to these articles. Like for example, oath. Okay, Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, presidents, vice president, governors, MP, council of minister, prime minister, each and every person have to take a oath before entering that office. Okay, now all these oaths are placed in a schedule. Okay, and if you want to refer to any oath, like for oath of president, you have to directly go to the schedule. You have to open that schedule and you can refer the oath of the president there. Okay, so to make it easier and to be precise and concise, schedules are formed. Okay, so what the schedule includes, it includes distribution of legislative subjects, forms of oath and affirmation, allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha, official languages, administrative and territorial arrangement, identification of schedule and tribal areas. Don't worry, we are going to deal it in detail. Fine. So what is the important purpose the schedule serves? Okay, so the schedule serves, they keep the main article concise. Okay, I have told you that they keep the article concise and principle based and prevent it from getting lengthier or bulky. They allow detailed provisions to be amended without altering the core article. Fine. If in case, like just take an example of salary. Okay, if you want to change the amount of salary given to a specific member of parliament or judge of Supreme Court or any one of them which are mentioned in our constitution, you just have to amend the specific schedule. Okay, you don't have to go to the articles and create changes in that. So it is much easier to amend the schedule rather than amending the articles. That's why they have some most critical importance. They provide clear and ready references for parliament and governor. Okay, as we have discussed. Let's go through all the schedules in short so you can have an idea that what each and every schedule is related to. So the first schedule, it deals with the names of states and their territorial jurisdiction and the names of union territory and their extent. So the first schedule is related to the states. States means our Maharashtra is a state, Chhattisgarh is a state, Jammu Kashmir is a state, Tamil Nadu is a state. So this schedule, in this schedule you will find the geographical extent and the name of this state. Okay. Similarly, it is mentioned for union territories. Okay. In the second schedule, it deals with the provisions related to emoluments, allowances, privileges and so on of which person? President, governors, presiding officers, that is speaker, deputy speaker, chairman, deputy chairman of legislature of central and state, judges of Supreme Court and High Court. Okay. So in this second schedule, the salaries, allowances, emoluments and privileges of this said persons are mentioned. Okay. In the third schedule, it deals with the oaths or affirmations given by or taken by the persons for the post of ministers, member of parliament, member of legislature, state legislature, judges of Supreme Court and High Court, and Comptroller General of Auditor General, that is CAG. The fourth schedule deals with the allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha to the states and union territories. As you know that Rajya Sabha, states representatives are the members of Rajya Sabha. The state government gets the members are elected from the state legislature to be a member of Rajya Sabha. So the representative of states and union territories are placed. So how many members would be placed from a specific state and in which manner it is given in the fourth schedule. Fine. The fifth schedule, it deals with the provisions related to the administration and control of scheduled areas and scheduled tribe except the states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. So the remaining population or the area of tribal area and tribes has been mentioned in the fifth schedule. And for these states, that is Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, the sixth schedule has been formed. Okay. Seven schedules deals with the distribution of powers in our constitution. The powers are distributed in form of list. Okay. So the first list is union list, second is state list, third is concurrent list. What do you mean by union list? Union list means the subjects, topics, departments or sectors on which the union government or the central government can make laws. Okay. Similarly, the subjects like, let me give you some example, like finance, defense, external affairs and so on. So on this topic, only union government or central government will make laws. And the topics like education, agriculture, okay, or take irrigation. On these topics, state government will or can make laws on these topics. Okay. But what about concurrent list? Some subjects are mentioned in the concurrent list on which state as well as central government can make laws or legislate laws. Okay. So in 7th schedule, these three lists are mentioned. 8th schedule deals with the languages recognized by the constitution. Okay. So originally there were 14 languages. Presently there are 22 languages. Questions are asked that from 14 to 22 language must have been added. So at what time and by which amendment was this and this language added to the schedule? Okay. So this is important. 9th schedule, it deals with to protect laws included in it from the judicial scrutiny. So judicial review doesn't apply on this schedule. On 10th schedule deals with the provisions related to disqualification. In nowadays, it is very common that certain MP or certain MLA belonging to a certain party, after getting elected, switches to the another party or goes to the another party. To prevent this thing or this situations or this phenomena, 10th schedule has been included in our constitution, and which is related to anti-defection. The, the transfer of this or the shifting of this MLA from or MP from one party to party 2, it is known as defection, and to prevent this, 10th schedule has been added in our constitution. Similarly, in 11th schedule, the 11th schedule is related to panchayat. So in 11th schedule, each and every topic, okay, the details of panchayat raj or the rural panchayati system has been mentioned, their subjects and each and everything. Okay, similarly for 12th schedule, it relates to the municipalities, that is urban local government, okay, urban local self government. Fine. So now we have gone through all these 12 schedules. Let's have a look on some PYQs, and you will get that how important it is to study in this way and to study in a very precise and concise way. Okay, consider the following statements. At present, the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution specifies 22 languages. Among them, Konkani and Nepali language were added by 92nd Amendment Act. Okay, so as you can see that here we have seen that our 8th schedule constitutes 22 languages which are officially recognized. So if you might have read this notes, you might have got the answer right. Second question is, which schedule of Indian Constitution contains the allocation of seats for each state and union territories in India in the Council of States, that is Rajya Sabha? So here you can see, yes, the 4th schedule deals with the allocation of seats to Rajya Sabha by the states. Okay. Fine. So in this way we have covered the topic of schedules. Okay, and what we have done, we have just gone through the number of schedules and their rough or basic definitions, that which schedule is related to which topic and what are the specifications mentioned in that schedule, and we can ultimately solve these questions easily. Okay, so you don't have to run before the descriptive and long lengthy notes to pass this exam. Okay, let's go through another topic, and that is list. So salient features of constitution, we have covered two topics. First one is the sources of our constitution, and second one is schedule. The third important topic here is list, that is concurrent list, union list, state list. So questions are asked from this topic, from this list, that which subject or matter is mentioned in which list, or which of the following subjects are not mentioned in the concurrent list or state list or union list. Okay, so here you can see this is a list or list of subjects which are mentioned in concurrent list. So in concurrent list they have mentioned criminal law, criminal procedure, preventive detention, and I hope you remember what do you mean by concurrent list. I have explained you earlier. Okay, so still let me give some short explanation of concurrent list. Okay, so there in our constitution we have three lists. The first is union list, second one is concurrent state list, and third is concurrent list. So in this list the number of specific subjects which are mentioned, only central government or union government can make laws, and the subjects which are mentioned in state list, only state government can make laws on this specified subjects. But in case of concurrent list, union as well as state can make laws on this subjects. Which subjects? Here I have given you the list. Okay, like criminal law, criminal procedure, preventive detention. Okay, civil and family laws like marriage and divorce, adoption, success, transfer of property, contracts. Okay, so this is the concurrent list. In this way, the concurrent list works, and these are the topics. Let's move on. Education. Okay, education was added to concurrent list by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. If in recent anything is added or taken out from any list, question is asked by the permission that which of the following subject is taken out or added in the concurrent list or state list or any of the list. Okay, so this is also important, the amendment, the year and the subject, that way subject is added. Fine. Education, technical and medical education, universities all come in concurrent list. Forest and environment. Forest was added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, protection of wildlife, wild animals and birds. Labours and social welfare, trade unions, labor welfare, factories, industrial disputes, social security. Bankruptcy and insolvency, price control, electricity, planning, population control and family planning. So now you will understand that why I have taken this list and these subjects. Okay, this type of questions are asked by the commission. The question is, which of the following is not, this is important, not included in concurrent list? We have gone through this, okay, and we have found out that contracts is mentioned, forest is mentioned, bankruptcy and insolvency is present, okay, but toll is not mentioned in the concurrent list. So this type of questions are asked from this topic and by the commission. So I hope you might have understood that in which way you have to, or by which method you have to prepare for combined exam for the subject of polity. And I hope that if in this way you start preparing, you would be assured sure success. Okay, so if there are any questions, any confusion, you can comment down here and I will reply to your questions. Okay, fine. So this is these are our contact details. You may contact us through email or Instagram, Telegram, YouTube, or a contact number. Kindly note down this thing, this details, and you for sure you will be guided in a proper way. If you have any questions, you might send text or contact us by this info. Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you.